This is not an accident. You didn't just scroll your way into this message. You didn't just stumble onto this video. Heaven has been trying to get your attention, and now, finally, God has positioned your heart to hear what you've been ignoring. You see, there are moments when God doesn't whisper, He shakes. He rattles the walls of your comfort, He interrupts your silence, and He speaks through pain, pressure, and even your confusion. You think life is falling apart, but beloved, it's falling into place. God is not punishing you, He's positioning you. You've been asking for a sign, for a word, for direction, and this is it, right here, right now. There's a reason your plans didn't work. There's a reason your strength feels empty. God will not let you settle for survival when you were created for victory. So lean in, don't resist, because this is not just a message. This is a divine interruption. You didn't plan this moment, heaven did. God's been watching your life shake, your heart ache, and your prayers grow quieter with each passing day. And still, He waited, not because He was distant, but because He was preparing the right moment to wake you up. And now, here it is right here, right now. He's interrupting the rhythm of your disappointment, not to shame you, but to awaken you. You've been numb. You've been walking through the motions. Maybe you even said, God, I can't hear you anymore. And I believe His reply is this, because I've stopped whispering, I've started shaking. Sometimes God loves us too much to let us stay asleep in survival mode. He'll let your plans fall apart. He'll let the door close that you thought was meant for you. He'll let that relationship die, that comfort zone collapse, because you were never meant to live there forever. Comfort was never your calling. Awakening was. This interruption isn't punishment, it's pursuit. God pursues His children, not by always making life easy, but by allowing disruption to shake the slumber off our spirits. He is calling your name in the fire, and the shaking is holy. It doesn't mean you're far from God. It means He's dangerously close. Close enough to disturb the lies you've been living under. Close enough to stir the gifts you've buried deep in fear. Close enough to break chains that your silence has allowed to grow. You've mistaken the shaking for a sign that God's mad at you. No, it's proof that He hasn't forgotten you. That dream that still haunts you at night. That pull you feel every time you try to settle. That deep ache that you can't explain with words. That's the sound of heaven waking you up from sleepwalking. This is not random. This is a rescue. So don't resist it. Let Him shake what needs to fall. Let Him break what was never meant to remain. Because on the other side of the shaking is your becoming. You are not being ruined, you're being rebuilt. And today, God is calling you to rise. You keep asking why. Why hasn't it happened yet? Why do doors keep closing? Why does it feel like you're moving backward when you've been trying so hard to move forward? But what if the delay isn't punishment? What if it's protection? What if the very thing you're calling a setback is God's hand holding you back until everything is in alignment, not just outside of you, but inside of you too? God doesn't operate on our deadlines. He's not impressed with urgency. He's moved by purpose. You want it now, but He wants it right. And right takes time. Right requires refining. If He gave you what you were praying for when you first asked, it might have destroyed you, or worse. It might have convinced you that you could do it without Him. There are places God is calling you to that your character hasn't caught up to yet. And so, He delays. Not to deny, not to discourage, but to develop. To align your desires with His truth. To align your dreams with your calling. To align your spirit with His voice. It's not that God doesn't want to bless you. It's that He doesn't want the blessing to bury you. He's not ignoring your prayers. He's editing your timeline to protect the weight of your future. Because when the moment comes, when the door finally opens, when the stage is ready, He doesn't want a version of you that's tired and desperate. He wants you bold. He wants you rooted. He wants you awake. You've mistaken waiting for being forgotten. But listen, God never forgets his children. The silence you feel is not abandonment, it's preparation. It's alignment. He's working behind the scenes, beyond what you can see, to put the right people, the right timing, and the right strength inside of you. So don't curse the delay. Don't let bitterness build in the waiting. Lean in. Trust that your God is not slow. He's strategic. He's not punishing you. He's positioning you. And when his yes finally comes, it will be sudden, it will be sacred, and it will be right on time. You've been taught to fear brokenness, to hide it, to run from it, to cover it with filters and distractions and busyness. But what if brokenness isn't something to escape? What if it's the place where God does his deepest, most sacred work? What if the pieces of your life that feel shattered are the very places where glory is about to break through? God doesn't discard the broken. He collects it. He gets close to it. The word says he is near to the brokenhearted, not near to the perfect, not near to the polished, but near to the ones who are undone. Because brokenness isn't failure, it's foundation. It's the place where all the noise is stripped away, where our pride crumbles, and where we finally realize that we were never the builder he was. You see, what you thought was the end is actually the beginning. You thought God was dismantling your life, but he was removing everything that couldn't carry the weight of your calling. He's not trying to hurt you. He's trying to heal you honestly, and real healing always begins with real breaking. Brokenness births hunger. It births humility. It breaks the illusion that we're in control. It clears space for the Holy Spirit to move. In your brokenness, you stop depending on your own strength. You cry out in a way you never would have if everything was easy. And that's where the shift happens. That's where heaven starts to move. Don't despise this season. Don't curse the fracture. God is using it. He's rebuilding you on solid ground, not on pride, not on comparison, not on the applause of others, but on identity, on truth, on fire-tested faith that can't be shaken. You were never called to be flawless. You were called to be faithful. And sometimes faithfulness means standing in the ruins and saying, God, I still trust you. It means believing that these broken places will be the very ground where miracles rise. So don't run from your brokenness. Bring it to the altar. Let the God who formed you remake you. Because when he builds with purpose. And what he puts back together, no one can tear apart. You've been wondering where he is. The silence has been deafening. You've prayed, and the heavens felt like brass. You've begged for answers, but all you hear is stillness. And in that stillness, you began to believe the lie. Maybe God's not listening. Maybe he's distant. Maybe I'm forgotten. But hear me, God is never absent in silence. Sometimes he speaks loudest through emptiness. It's in the quiet places, in the in-between seasons, where he strips away the distractions that once drowned out his voice. He removes the noise, not to punish you, but to prepare you. Because his whisper isn't meant to compete with chaos. It's meant to be heard in stillness. You keep asking for clarity, but clarity doesn't always come wrapped in words. Sometimes it comes wrapped in waiting. And that waiting, that ache in your soul, that dry ground under your feet, it's sacred. Because in those places we stop performing. We stop striving. We stop trying to impress God with our strength, and we finally surrender. You don't need to chase a loud answer when he's trying to grow a quiet trust. You see, silence has never been the absence of God. It's often the beginning of intimacy with him. Think of the wilderness where Jesus went after baptism. He didn't enter glory first. He entered silence. The wilderness wasn't punishment. It was preparation. And the silence you're in now, it's preparing you too. Don't misinterpret his quietness as rejection. He's closer than you think. He's watching to see if you'll still worship when you don't hear anything. He's looking for faith that doesn't rely on feelings, Because anyone can believe when they feel goosebumps, but it takes warriors to believe when heaven goes quiet. This is where real trust is born, not in the noise, but in the stillness. When you stop needing signs and simply say, "Even if you say nothing, I'll stay," that's where transformation begins. That's where faith grows roots. That's where he speaks the clearest, not through volume, but through presence. So don't fear the silence. Don't run from the emptiness. It might be the very place where your spirit finally becomes still enough to truly hear God. You feel like you're wandering, like every step forward only leads to more questions. You're praying, but nothing's shifting. You're moving, but it feels like you're lost. But what if I told you you're not lost at all? What if I told you this season isn't chaos, it's covering? You think you're off course, but heaven has never lost sight of you. God does not misplace his children. Just because you can't see the next step doesn't mean God doesn't have a path. He is not a God of confusion. He is a God of precision, of order, of timing, and he leads differently than the world. The world gives maps. God gives manna, enough light for the next step, not the next 10 years. Why? Because if he showed you the whole picture, you'd either run or rush ahead. But he's building something stronger in you, dependence. You don't need to see everything. You need to trust the one who sees it all. You feel blind, but that's where faith is forged. Sight makes you secure in yourself. Blindness makes you hold tighter to him. And that's the point. God isn't trying to give you control. He's teaching you surrender. You've been mistaking hiddenness for being forgotten. You've been equating delay with being unworthy. But God hides the most precious things: seeds in soil, diamonds in the earth, destinies in dark seasons. Just because you're hidden doesn't mean you're not chosen. It means you're being protected. You're being prepared. You're being led. This is a walk of trust, not a race of clarity. So stop asking, "God, where are you?" and start declaring, "God, I know you're here," even in the fog. Even in the silence, even in the confusion, he is guiding your feet even when you can't feel it. Your job is not to figure it all out. Your job is to keep stepping, to keep showing up, to keep walking in the direction he last pointed you toward. Because he hasn't abandoned you, he's just drawing you closer. And when the time is right, the clouds will clear, the door will open, and you'll realize you were never lost. You were always being led.